It's fractions. Now, fractions should not be a hard thing to do. We have calculators. We could just solve this equation just by, adding the 1/5 to both sides and then multiplying by 15, and we could do that 100% easily. But we also have a trick to make it a little easier to do fractions. So I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is what we would think. We're solving for A. What's on the side that we need to get rid of? Well, we've got a 15 and we've got a 1/5, right? Which one we get rid of first? Well, we get rid of 1/5. What's it doing to A? It's being subtracted, so we would add. Are those going to cancel? You betcha. Okay, if we do it to one side of the equation, we've got to do it to the other. So these 1/5 are gone, right? They canceled. We had to make sure they did. And then we have A over 15 equals, we can add these because they have the same denominator. 3 and 1 leaves us with 4/5. Okay, still solving for A. A is being divided by 15. The inverse of divide is multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 15. If we do it to one side, got to do it to the other. 15 divided by 15 makes 1. 1 times A is just plain A, so that we say they cancel. And then over here, we can take a little shortcut. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 4 times 3 would be 12. So the answer would be 12. And that would just be plain using that equation, solving it like a normal equation and using your calculator to do the fractions or using your brain to do the fraction part of it. Okay? But there's another way. Let me rewrite the equation. A over 15 minus 1/5 equals 3 over 5. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this card. We've already used it. Now, this other way involves getting rid of the fractions right off the bat. To do that, we have to look at the denominator of each fraction. 15, 5, and 5. And then we find their least common multiple, their LCM. Remember LCMs with Ms. Ferguson? Okay, LCM is what number they all go into. Not what goes into them. What do they all go into? Now remember, to find an LCM, you look at, 15, 5, and since they're both 5s, we'll just look at 15 and 5. And you say, okay, 5 goes into, will 15 go into it? Well, 5 goes into 10, but 15 won't. 5 goes into 15, and so will 15. So their LCM is 15. Okay? Now, what we do is we take the entire equation, the whole thing, and we multiply every term in it by 15. That means we do 15 times A over 15, 15 times negative 1/5, 15 times 3/5. We multiply everything by 15. So we have 15 times A over 15, and 15 times 1/5, and then 15 times 3 over 5. You wouldn't have to write this normally, but I just want to show you what happens. Now remember our shortcut a while ago? Those two guys cancel and we're left with A. Don't forget our minus sign. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. So now we have an equation that has no fractions. We can solve this real easy. A is over here. We need to get rid of the 3. The 3's being subtracted. Inverse operation is add. So we add 3. If we do it to one side, got to do it to the other. Negative 3, positive 3, they cancel. That makes a 0 pair. And A equals 9, 10, 11, 12. The solution to that problem is A is 12. Okay, now we're getting into a little more complex problem. By the way, I did want to go back and show you. We got A is 12 on both of them. When we did it just using the fractions and when we did it getting rid of the fractions. Alright, this one's a little more complicated. Why? Well, look. You have x's here and you have x's here. Here's an important thing to note though. Those x's, they're on the same side. If the x's are in two different places, but they're still on the same side of the equation, we just combine like terms. Remember, like terms are terms that are alike. They have to be terms that have the same variable, and the variables have to have the same exponent. So in this case, 6x and negative 8x are like terms. Remember, the sign has to go with the term that it's in front of. So when we combine 6 and negative 8, combining just means add. 6 plus negative 8. Okay? Bad guys are going to win, right? So it's going to be a negative. They win by 2. So we have negative 2x. When we add those together, we get negative 2x. What about this 3? He just comes on down. Okay? Now we're back to, once we combine those equations, back to a normal two-step equation. We're solving for x. We're trying to get rid of the 3 and get rid of the negative 2. Which one are we going to get rid of first? The one that's away from x. So we're going to get rid of the 3 first. What's 3 doing to x? What's being added? So the inverse would be to subtract. Okay? Why are we subtracting? Well, that's a positive. This is a negative. They cancel. If we do it to one side, got to do it to the other. Those guys cancel, and we're left with negative 2x on this side. 3 minus 3 is 10. 3 minus 3 is 10 on this side. Now we still got to get rid of negative 2. They're being multiplied, so we're going to divide. If we do it to one side, got to do it to the other. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. 1 times x leaves me with just x. I'm going to write my answer over here. And 10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5. Positive divided by negative is a negative. All right, one last example. Oh, no. It's even more complicated. This time, not only do we have extra x's, we even have parentheses. So we have to get rid of these parentheses before we can do anything. Remember our song. Step 1, get rid of the parentheses. Step 2, combine like terms with these. Step 3, get like terms on one side. Remember? So, first step, let's get rid of these parentheses. What's this 4 doing to all this stuff? What's multiplying? So we're going to do the distributive property and do 4 times x, which gives us 4x, and then 4 times negative 2, which gives us negative 8, and then the rest of it just comes on down. No more parentheses. However, now we do have some like terms we have to combine. Remember, we can only combine like terms when they're on the same side. If they're not on the same side, we have to do something to get them there. So is this 4x and this 2x on the same side? Yes. So we can combine them. 4x, positive 2x. When we add them together, that's 4, 5, 6. 6x. What do we do with this guy? He just comes on down. Make sure you bring a sign with him, that sign that goes with him. And then we bring down the 40. Okay, we're still not through. We still have to solve for x. We still have to get rid of a 6. We still have to get rid of the 8. Which one are we going to get rid of first? The 8. It's further away. That's your Facebook friend, remember? He's going home first. So the inverse of subtract is add. So we're going to add 8 to both sides. That leaves us with 6, 8 over here because the 8's canceled. And over here we get 48. Okay? Now, x times 6, the opposite would be to divide, so we need to divide 6. I'm running out of room. Okay, so 6 is canceled. X equals 8. So the solution to this problem is x equals 8. So this was solving two-step equations. Some a little simple and some pretty complex.